Alright, good morning everyone. Dab here. Gonna give everyone a breakdown of my lightning sorcerer. It's kind of my own take on it. Started with the basic guide on maxroll.gg to see what everybody was talking about, and I changed a few things to be how I like it. And I made it more of a mythic version, and also a little better at bosses. I still need a lot of gear with stars, but without stars, the other day I did a tier 8 horde and got over 1,000 aether. And my gear's a little better than then, but like, yeah, 1 star on the ring, no stars on that ring, no stars on my 888 item power necklace. We got 2 stars on the staff. When I did the T8 and got 1,000 aether the other day, it only had 1 star. No stars on the boots, no stars on the pants, 1 star on the gloves, no stars on Tyrell's Might, no stars on Andariel's Visage. So yeah, most builds they use a legendary chest piece, and they use Harlequin's Crest. I'll talk about that as well. I'm gonna go over everything I have on this build, and then I will demonstrate a 101 pit and a tier 8 horde. I'll do the tier 8 horde last because it can be time consuming. Maybe some intermissions in between. Could be about an hour or 2. We'll see. If you're watching this at a later time, just fast forward to other parts of the video. Sorry, just streaming for fun. Haven't really done any editing. Alright, without further ado. Oh yeah, my sponsors for this video, it's going to be my coffee, made out of my Keurig, and it's going to be my vape from my local dispensary, because, like it or not, I'm a disabled vet that uses marijuana to get by, so get over it. Here we go. Let's see. So, Fractured Winter Glass. This is the necklace. The build is all about this necklace. Everything I do in this build is about making this necklace work better. Alright? Yeah, except for there's one variation. But let's see. Starting with this, I need a 925 and I need stars. The one I have is kind of mediocre, and just a mediocre necklace. That's the primary piece for the build. Well, one of 2 pieces. I'll talk about the second. But a mediocre piece, and I cleared tier 8 with over 1,000 aether. I mean, granted, there's a lot of nice picks there, a lot of elite picks. Hopefully, we get that later. But anyways. Important piece for the build because it's got non-physical damage. Of course, everything we do is non-physical. Chance for frozen orb projectiles cast twice. Very important because every time a frozen orb pulses after it hits the ground, it resets the cooldown on our conjurations. Conjuration cooldowns reduced by, I got a mediocre roll there and only 1 masterworking crit. Imagine if I get a star there. It's already amazing. I can already get up to like 18 conjurations out at a time sometimes. That's one reason I use Andariel's Visage for that attack speed. But see, conjuration cooldowns reduced, so I use the frozen orb aspects. That gives 3 pulses on a cast. So every cast of frozen orb is reducing cooldowns of conjurations by 1.2 seconds. That's how the math works. Conjuration mastery. That means I get mana regeneration and increased damage and stuff based on number of conjurations out. Alright, so ties in with everything else. The faster frozen orb pulses, the faster conjurations get launched, the more conjuration mastery benefits. And then casting frozen orb, just casting, by the way, it doesn't have to hit anything. You'll see me, I mostly cast it at my feet because shorter travel time means the ball hits faster and pulses faster to me. Where if you cast it across the screen, you got to wait on that travel time to get the pulse. So I cast it at my feet to get pulse, 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 pulse. You'll see it when I'm playing. Oh, my bad. Elbow hit it. Alright, anyways, casting Frozen Orb. Again, cast. Keyword cast. We do not care about Frozen Orb damage. Don't give 2 craps about Frozen Orb damage. We care about casting Frozen Orb, and we care about Frozen Orb pulsing on the ground. Alright, 52 chance to spawn a random conjuration when it explodes. The conjurations are what do the damage for us. Lucky hits. I mean, so this isn't that big of a deal because again, frozen orb's not our damage, but this is like a little extra thing that happens. So you could get a little more of this if you squeezed in some Fists of Fate, but it'll hurt your damage more trying to focus on this lucky hit. Everything on this is more about the top part of casting frozen orb. All right, but you will see your like hydras suddenly spit out a bunch of frozen orbs at shit. Pardon my language. Retired army, sometimes it just slips out. All right, going to the first ring. We got Tal Rasha's Iridescent Loop. Also a required item. Primary place to get this is from Vershawn. Now, my necklace, I got this from the season. Well, you get both of these from the season, just going through doing the season stuff. And then I haven't gotten a replacement yet for Fractured Wizard class. Maybe we'll target that later. I got a bit of boss material. Let's see. But anyways, back to Talrash's Iridescent Loop. So we got Lucky Hit Chance. I mean, that's good. Non-physical damage again. Very important because everything we do is non-physical. Cooldown reduction. I mean, you get a little bit throughout the build naturally. You don't really have to focus on it. Some people try to go Harlequin's Quest to focus on it, but with the triple pulse of Frozen Orb and some right rolls in the right places, you can use the slot for other stuff. Let's see, +4 to Potent Warding. Potent Warding. Let's see. We got Fiery Surge there. There's the Conjuration Mastery. Where's that Potent Warding? Oh, right here, Potent Warding. Potent Warding, casting skill grants 12% all resistance and 8% maximum resistance to that skill's element for 9 seconds. Doesn't really do a lot for me because I have Tyrael's Might. So I might be getting like 3% resistance out of all that. Because, let's see. Yeah, there's my resistances right there. I'll go down my stat list in a minute. Alright, but important thing on this one, also another reason I use Andariel's Visage. For each type of elemental damage you deal, gain 18.5%, go up to 20, increase damage for 4 seconds, stacking up to 4 times up to 80%. So that means you can hit with 4 elements. Now, in the build we naturally have fire, ice, and lightning. A lot of people are always like, man, I just can't get the big hits with the lightning spear. Well, maybe if you throw in that 4th element, you will be amazed. Especially when that 4th element procs Poison Novas from Andariel's Visage. It's pretty amazing, actually. You get all the lightning spears flying around, proccing Poison Novas. Not bad. Let's see. Another alternative could be going like a one-handed slashing with Doombringer and putting on a focus that has the power you need. But that does nerf your damage. There's only one way I found to go with a single slot aspect for Lightning Spear and keep the damage. I'll talk about that. Let's see. I've done a bit of playtesting, different versions. I just haven't gotten stars from my gear yet. Alright. Going on to the first ring. Now, before I talk about aspects, everything, all of our legendary slots better have critical strike damage, and preferably critical strike chance, because that is what makes our money in this build. If you don't have critical strike damage, you're going to hit like a limp noodle, alright? And you don't want to hit like a limp noodle. It's not fun. Let's see, we got, so ideally on this, I would have intelligence, critical strike chance, critical strike damage. Let's see, is there anything other than intelligence I can think of for that? Let's see what we got here. Damage, either intelligence, damage. I'd be happy with attack speed. Okay. But yeah, so critical strike chance. I already have that roll. Oh, that's why it's showing it. Let me get another ring. I gotta look at the life spot. Don't judge my stash. It's a little messy. A lot of it came from Barbarian too, and he treated the stash how you think a Barbarian would. All right. So we got a ring here. Alright, so let's say we were switching max life. Alright, so what will it give me for max life? Might have all the crit stuff. It does. Nothing about that. We didn't have crit stuff on there, so it gave it as options. Doobie. Strength, max life. Am I going to find anything I want here? Oh, here we go. This is perfect. This shows exactly what we need. How about that? Sorry, I should have scouted ahead on this, huh? Alright, so this ring has life, critical strike chance, critical strike damage. So we always want critical strike chance and damage, but what could we get for life? The critical strike chance and damage is core to the build. If you don't have this, the build won't work right. Let's see, alright, standby intelligence and damage. Attack speed, lucky hits. All lightning spear crits make stuff vulnerable, so our vulnerable is on autopilot. It's amazing. Everything's vulnerable. Yeah, so for me, stat priorities would be number 1, critical strike damage. Number 2, critical strike chance. Number 3, I'll get greedy and say damage. Number 4, intelligence. Those could be interchangeable. Just damage, because my resistances are good. I don't need any of that. It only benefits skill, and yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know. We'd have to see greater fixes with master workings and see them compete with each other. But damage could be pretty good because you can see you don't really have damage numbers in this build. Look, these numbers over here are horrible. 11,500 attack power, 9,200 armor, barely 85% for me, by the way. But again, I don't have, you know, greater fixes. 21,000 life. I have played this build. When I cleared tier 8, I had 14,000 life, by the way. 14,000 life, and my life rarely moved. I just had to be careful in the boss room. Which, you'll see, this game, yeah, I got this build like you don't even play with monsters. You're literally just playing with yourself and your frost balls and, yeah, chasing around crackling energy. But anyways, yeah, so if I was rolling this, I would roll it, and I would take none of those. Lucky hits number 4 on the list. Let's see, we got... Oh. Mana on kill might be number 5, but not really needed. We have so much mana because of all our conjurations and stuff. And I'll show you more mana when I get to the skill tree. Alright, 83 goes up to 90. So right now, this is looking like a pretty amazing. I would say either damage roll or intelligence on the top. Probably a push if you're familiar with playing cards. It's like a push. Let's see, and yeah, greater efficacy across the board. And I would say you're looking for your masterworking crits on probably your critical strike damage temper. I would say because the temper gets higher rolls, right? So a greater fix there would have 75% for critical strike damage, where a temper, worldly finesse up to 85%. So potentially more critical strike damage by getting the masterworking crits on the temper. By the way, whether you're what is it, paranoid or not, it doesn't matter if you click or not, or don't click. It doesn't change the RNG. RNG is RNG, and this game is broken with it when it comes to tempering. Anyway, 65. I mean, it's just with RNG, it is amazing how often I get either 62.5 or 85. Maybe something in the very middle, and yeah, it's like they're I don't get the variation of all the numbers, you know. That's not how RNG is supposed to work. Just saying. But anyways, okay, so that was the ring. So secondary role right now, I have Fiery Surge because I mean that is amazing for how I'm playing because I'm playing with more attack speed, so I'm using my mana faster. I'll get to Fiery Surge in a minute. It's just mana regen. Let's see. There's also Lightning Spear cooldown reduction. But again, like, I know people want to stack cooldown reduction so you, like, it's almost like it's not on cooldown, right? But I play with both conjurations, and between both conjurations, I'm having a hard time keeping both buttons pressed. So it's like, I would rather, or for each point of this Fiery Surge is 15% mana regeneration, right? So that's 75% mana regeneration. 75% mana regeneration versus something I'll barely notice, right? Now I can see if you don't have any cooldown anywhere and you're hurting, maybe if you don't have Andariel's Visage, you know, it all plays together. Because Andariel's Visage, it uses my mana faster, makes me need the Fiery Surge, but it also makes the frozen orbs get out faster and pulse faster with attack speed, so that way cooldowns go down faster because I'm using Andariel's Visage. So, I don't know, maybe if I was using Harlequin's Crest because of its cooldown, I would need this cooldown. It's kind of back-asswards, right? Yeah, Sorcerer Stability. Each one of these under Sorcerer Stability, they can benefit this build. I can actually use every bit of this because Invigorating Conduit, everything, we put Crackling Energy all over the place. Frigid Breeze, we're casting Frost Orb and everything is chilled. Fiery Surge, we have the Firebolt as our enchantment and everything is burning. So like all three of those work. Doesn't matter what you can get benefit out of all of them. However, Fiery Surge is passive and always active. The first two require more interaction. So Fiery Surge is the most benefit you can get in this build. Alright, moving on to the headpiece. We got Andariel's Visage. Again, no stars here. Life on hit. If I wasn't trying to kill any bosses, I would throw Temerity on, and that life on hit gives you infinite barrier with Temerity. With this attack speed and everything you're doing, and also getting barriers from your cooldowns, yeah, and your mana shield, But yeah, but honestly, people that play with me are like, man, your life never moves, and it's because yeah, I have a lot of barrier from the setup. You'll see that as I get going. I also have damage reduction. But the attack speed. This attack speed is so important. And also the Poison Nova that gives that fourth trigger on the ring you got over there. But anyways, both of those, amazing. And also, if I wasn't fighting any bosses, I would go all yellow gems in my armor to go max DPS. But it's without the red gems, bosses can still one-shot me. Because if you can't survive a hit, barrier doesn't matter. That's a hard thing in this game. It's like you got to have enough survivability to survive a hit before your mitigation matters. Alright, let's see. We got Tyrael's Might. Alternative to this would be a chess piece. Let's see, I'm going to somewhat demonstrate. Do I have any over here? No, I don't really keep chess pieces because a lot of builds don't use them. But however, let's see, we got some barbarian stuff here. If you had a chess piece, you would come over here, and it would still be your damage reduction slot, just like mine is. Alright, I have movement speed with mine and more resistance. And I throw out extra stuff when I attack. But anyways, I digress. We want Ice Barrier, right? No, my bad. Want Ice Armor. Right here. Casting Ice Armor, so that's important, casting, makes you unstoppable and grants 25% damage reduction for 4.9 seconds. Alright, so, damage reduction. We're probably using it close to every 5 seconds, right? So you could probably get constant uptime on this. And a reason to use this is if you're also using Tibalt's Will, because this helps get permanent unstoppable with Tibalt's Will. Between this Flame Shield and teleporting from time to time, Tibalt's Will would be the pants to go if you have a legendary chess piece using this aspect. But I am not. So I am not using Tibalt's Will, and I am not using this chess piece. I have tested both, and I have found I have killed the fastest and done the best with my setup right now. So that's why I have it. Alright, but I got Tyrael's Might. It has movement speed. Again, with how I play, this movement speed is amazing because I'm constantly moving around, throwing frosty balls at my feet. Alright, we got maximum resistance to all elements. You saw earlier, I have 82 across the board except 85 because of Andariel's Visage. And then we got damage reduction, very important. Especially, like normally people use the Harlequin's Crest to get your damage reduction. But Tyrael's Might gives more damage reduction, and I got another piece of damage reduction. Another reason that I don't die with my hit points. I'll show it in a second. It's down the list. When at full life, skills unleash the Divine Barrage, dealing 5.736 damage. Now with modifiers, this can pop up as millions on your screens, but when I'm fighting, it looks like I always have the Artillery Shrine. It's like having an Artillery Shrine. It's pretty cool. It's a little extra damage, and one thing I like is that it can trigger lucky hits. So, just a little icing on the cake, if you will. And again, red gems for survivability on bosses. Let's see. For my bracers right now, I have Intelligence, Armor, Critical Strike damage, Lightning Spear, Lucky Hits. So Lightning Spear, Lucky Hit is the one thing that's different than the other ring. Again, now I would say I would probably prefer Critical Strike Chance over Intelligence, but I'm not mad about having Intelligence because since I don't have greater fixes, my Intelligence is low. But because I'm using Andariel's Visage, I have to have armor here. Alright? Normally Harlequin's Crest provides the armor for this build, but using Andariel's Visage instead of Harlequin's Crest means you have to have armor on your bracer. It's cool. Do it. Don't be mad about it. Hold on, someone's knocking on the door. Alright. There's someone saying bye to go to work. Ugh. I'm at home retired, so people come and go. Alright, and I'll circle back and talk about the aspects in a minute. Right now, I was just talking about... Actually, I got it up right now. We're going to look at the aspects. So, on the bracers, I have Frozen Orb explodes 2 additional times at its destination. So again, the explosion is what we want. We don't care about the damage. We care about casting Frozen Orb and we care about it exploding, right? Like, we just want to cast the white balls and have them explode all over the place, all right? That's what the build's all about. All right, see, I don't even have the max aspect yet. Still at 59%, still collecting. Yeah, this character is like 5 or 6 days old, something like that. I might be mistaken. Somewhere around there. I'll pull up my playtime. I played a lot, but anyway, so on one of your 3 legendaries, this is required. Not optional at all. Your other one, I'll go ahead and go down to the weapon, and I will circle back to the other ones. All right, on the weapon, following the same stat priorities, I would rather have damage than maximum life, but I had greater fixes, and I needed some life, so yay. Critical strike damage, critical strike damage. And then the moneymaker, chance for a second lightning spear when cast. So now on the build we got chances to, the necklace gives chances to cast frozen orb twice. Imagine when I get a greater fix on that. That's going to be awesome. Wow. But now there's already a thing that makes you cast 2 lightning spears when cast. So now when I cast, 3 lightning spears come out. And that plays into other changes I made to this build that's different than how other people play it. And I'll talk about that when I get into the skill tree. Alright. And it's very important that this goes on a 2-handed weapon. On a 2-handed weapon, it doubles the damage. Alright. If it's not on a 2-handed weapon, you will start hitting like a limp noodle unless you put it on your bracer or ring and you use the Spear of Evasion. Spear of Evasion, the mythic spear, will boost your vulnerable damage, critical strike damage, and overpower damage. But because it boosts your overpower damage and you still have a 2-handed weapon, because it boosts your vulnerable damage, you can drop the aspect on your ring that's for vulnerable damage, all right? Because this just boosts your current vulnerable number by 29%, right? So you can remove this and equip the spear, and your vulnerable damage still goes up. So it's a push, right? Again, getting into some gambling terms there. It's a push. It means they're equal, right? Somewhat equal. And for the playtesting, wow, I cleared tier 7 Horde so fast, and it's very fun inside the Horde when you randomly turn into a conduit, and you're this conduit in the Horde just decimating the screen. It's pretty fun. But let's see. But anyways, yeah, so to use the mythic Spear of Evasion, you can clear tier 7 and tier 8 Hordes, equip the spear right here, and put Frozen Orb aspect on your bracer, and you can put the Lightning Spear aspect on your ring. Now the important part I've noticed is having the vulnerable damage and also 2-handed weapon. And then the most important part is the last sentence on this aspect. This damage is increased by your critical strike damage bonus. Damage is increased by the stat that we've been focusing on. All right. If you don't focus on critical strike damage, this build will not do what it's supposed to. Because that last sentence right there works separate from everything. This damage is increased by your critical strike damage bonus. And that's why I got 2 green gems in there as well. So critical strike damage across the board, critical strike chance where you can. You want to cast lightning spears twice. You want lightning spears to do stuff. You want to regenerate some mana. And now, oh yeah, and for potions, obviously, my favorite potion is Elixir of Precision. Another 6% crit chance and another 35% crit damage. Oh yeah, I want to talk about vulnerable aspects real quick, because a lot of guides out there, for some reason, they're using what I think is the wrong one. A lot of them are using Storm Swill. Storm Swill. You deal 30% increased damage to vulnerable enemies while you have a barrier. All right. I have Aspect of Shredding Blades, which is going up a percent for me. Yay! But anyways, Aspect of Shredding Blades, it's the last sentence. You gain 30% vulnerable damage, right? It's a separate sentence. It's always active. So on this one, you always have 30% vulnerable damage. On Stormswell, you only have vulnerable damage while you have a barrier. So if you take a hard hit, you lose that 30% damage. All right? That comes secondary to me. If I equip both, they both just boost the same number. Now, they are multiplicative, but they are both the exact same 30%. So right now, I can show you. I'd have to go into... I can go outside the town and show you. Watch this. So right now, without the ring, Without the ring right now, I have 241 vulnerable damage, alright? Without the ring, 241 vulnerable damage. See? No ring, 241 vulnerable damage. Putting on my ring with a permanent 30% modifier for vulnerable damage, the 241 goes to 343. Alright? Now, alright, we're going to take this one.
Only honest magic.
We're going to put on Storm Swell. So keep that right there for a second. We're going to go outside of town, trigger a barrier.
Thank the light your ear.
Don't be thanking me yet. Alright, out in town. Alright, so again, currently, vulnerable damage, 343. That's because I have this ring on. But now when I put this one on, it drops back to 241 because I only have that 30% bonus while I have a barrier, right? So watch this, barrier. 241 goes to 343. So I have to have a barrier to get that 343. Where with this ring, I always have the 343. So that's why everyone should use this one instead of Storm Swell. Everywhere I go, I see people using Storm Swell instead, because that's what these guides online say. But thing that we learned in the military is trust but verify. I'll use something as a baseline, but I go through and I test every little detail myself. That's what I do. It's another reason I changed up the skill board and the Paragon board a little. Alright. We got... Alright, again, Critical Strike Potion. So, drinking the potion. So in combat, I'm typically with Andariel's Visage at 43.5% attack speed. I mean, think about that. With Harlequin's Crest, you're at 0% attack speed. It's horrible. Critical Strike Chance, 55.5. Critical Strike Damage, looking amazing. Can you imagine when I get greater fixes? Wow. Overpower, mediocre. Vulnerable, that's around the range you want. Typically in most builds you want between, somewhere around 350 is the good point you want. Let's see, we got all damage, 18. A lot of this comes from Paragon boards. So going through the Paragon boards, all about trying to get all the different multipliers you can. Because if you've seen any of my other videos, I talk a lot about buckets of damage, and you want to have a little bit of it each of the buckets so they all multiply together. Whereas, like, say, yeah, if things are additive, 30 plus 30 is 60, but 30 times 30 is 900. Alright, so that is overview of the gear. Now off to the skill tree. Alright, skill tree. Going to the top. We have 1 in Firebolt, just to have the enchantments. We have 1 in Spark, just because we're lightning, and we don't use either of them. That's all we do. We're forced to put 2 points, so we put 2 points. We use Firebolt as our enchantment, because looking at the enchantment effect, direct damage from skills applies up to an additional blah 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 burning over 8 seconds. We don't care about the damage, we just care that they burn. We want to make the world burn, okay? We deal increased damage to burning, we take reduced damage from burning, and, oh yeah, sorry, I did not finish this gear. I'll get back to that. Because I had these pants and boots to talk about. I mentioned the damage reduction from burning, and I was like, oh yeah, I mentioned the second damage reduction piece. That's our pants. A lot of people don't use these pants. They use Tibalt's Will with Harlequin's Crest. But because I don't use Harlequin's Crest, I don't use Tibalt's Will or the other or legendary chest piece. I use Axial Conduit because I have learned I can kill the council faster with Axial Conduit. The way this works and the way I have my mana regen set up, it is amazing. It also provides me with an infinite field of crackling energy, and I don't have to do anything because I use Chain Lightning as my enchantment. It's all free for me. Wearing these pants is nothing but money. Look at it. Chance for Chain Lightning projectiles to cast twice. Now I love that wording on there. It says Chain Lightning projectiles to cast twice. That means like my my enchantment can do that. It doesn't say when I cast. It says when the projectiles cast. So that's important wording. These games, I don't know if anybody here has played Magic the Gathering, but like games like this and Magic, wording is very important when you're reading the aspects and stuff. We got more damage reduction. This goes amazing with the damage reduction on Tyrell's Might. I feel like a badass as a sorcerer. It's like sometimes I gotta tell myself I'm not the barbarian. Why am I at the boss's feet, right? But I talk about how with Andariel's Visage, I am firing so fast. I'm using a lot of mana. I got that Fiery Surge helping regenerate, but then I also got 51.9% resource generation and maximum here. That is amazing as well. +5 to chain lightning. If I wanted to, I wouldn't even have to put skill points in it, but I do to make crackling energy for me. All right, we got chain lightning alternates between orbiting you and sinking up to 3 enemies. That can be the entire council. How about that? When it returns, it drains 6 mana from you for each active chain lightning. After draining 66 total, bolt explodes for the lightning damage. Alright, so in the bottom part, chain lightning expires if you don't have enough mana for it to drain. Essentially, I can wind up with a pretty large army of chain lightning because of how much mana regeneration I have in this build, right? It's pretty amazing. Sometimes, like, the bosses will just start melting, and I'm like, I can't figure out why, and then I'm like, oh yeah, it's got to be the actual conduits. Because when I play tested all the other pants, that doesn't happen. Let's see, yeah, playtesting Tibalt's Will for the unstoppable, damage boost, more resource generation. I like these pants so much more. Playtesting Temerity. Man, Temerity is amazing just because with Indara's Visage having infinite barrier. That's nice, but this is more damage, and it has damage reduction. If I didn't have the damage reduction on this, I might take the Temerities. But this damage reduction makes it so my barrier lasts. Going on to the boots. These boots complete the build. There's a couple others you could try, but they have to have critical strike damage or critical strike chance. Preferably both. But these boots kind of complete everything we're doing because they give us a little more critical strike damage, and then the bottom part, your critical strike chance is increased by 39% of your movement speed. So when we're in combat and fighting, especially if I get the opportunity to pick the pillar for movement speed for collecting Aether, it'll put our crit chance almost at 100. We saw it was at 55. If I get up to 40%, that's 95. That's high crit chance, especially when we want all of these to crit, right? If all of these are critting, everything is getting deleted. It's crazy. So there you go. Crit chance, crit damage, make stuff go boom. All right, back to the skill tree. Sorry, sometimes I find squirrels everywhere. In the army, I was called a secret squirrel. Let's see. I talked about the basic skills. Again, we just want the Firebolt enchantment, and we're forced to spend a point, so we do. I choose lightning because I'm a lightning person right now. Frost, you know, I'm a little frosty. Just got 1 point in Frozen Orb. Again, don't care about the damage because we don't have anything really into frozen damage. I mean, it does a tiny bit, but it's very negligible to what our Lightning Spear's doing. Lightning Spear's everything. And the actual conduit. But we don't even have to take this one. Normally everyone thinks you have to take all these because you want Frozen Orb to make stuff vulnerable. But you don't, because you'll see later the critical strikes from Lightning Spear cause vulnerable. All you need is 1 point so we can equip it and cast it. We just care about it, casting it. That's it. And then we got our Chain Lightning. For me, this is helping a lot with killing bosses and generating crackling energy. And I'm turning crackling energy into more spear damage. Other people don't, but I am. Alright, we got increased crit chance per bounce. Very important. And then we got, when it crits, we get crackling energy, right? Increased crit chance per bounce. I got some spears that are, or some pieces of lightning that are constantly bouncing, right? Because of my pants. And when they crit, I get crackling energy. Yeah, we wind up with like crackling energy all over the ground. It's like, again, I mentioned I don't even fight the monsters really. I throw white balls at my feet while I walk around chasing crackling energy. It's like, I don't know if you play Pokemon Go, I'm playing crackling energy Go. Alright, but we got our flame shield over here. This is our oh shit button. This is the axe guy spawned for the Aether Fiend, and he's swinging at my head. I'm going to hit this button. Although with my damage reduction in my barrier, typically I don't even lose my barrier. But that is me. A lot of people, you'll want to hit this if you see that axe coming at your head, or if you get stuck in a boss thing. Alright, if you just get stuck in something, you probably want to just teleport out of there. Alright, teleport, kind of use it as needed. Typically, I like to use this to move between circle and circle inside the Horde. Try to keep it available for that. If I was playing Tibalt's Will, I would also be using it to trigger Tibalt's Will. We got 30% movement speed for 3 seconds after teleporting. You already saw movement speed increases our crit chance. And of course, we want to go fast. And most builds, people select this one. Teleport deals 500% increase in damage and forms crackling energy. But I don't care about teleport's damage. and I have infinite crackling energy because of my chain lightning. So I pick 30% more damage reduction because I am a barbarian dressed as a sorcerer. Roar. Alright, next we have only 1 point in elemental attunement. This is pretty much standard for all sorcerers now. You can put 3 points in there if you want, but with how many things we have hitting stuff, that like 1 point is going to trigger. 14% is still a high percentage for lucky hit, or 7%, my bad. I mean, every once in a while you see an overpower, right? Overpower is only 3%, but so 7%, you'll see that every once in a while. And it can only happen once every 10 seconds. With all the lightning spears on the screen, it'll happen every 10 seconds. You only need the 1 point. Don't stress it. Alright, 3 of 3, glass cannon. 18% increased damage, take 6% more. I got damage reduction. I don't care about the 6%. 18% is a win. Alright, then I tried plating this build without the ice barrier, or ice armor. It's possible. But not recommended because, so with Temerity, I don't need it. I'll say that. With Temerity, you don't need ice armor. Temerity gives infinite barrier. Without Temerity, you need this to maintain your barrier. Because barrier gives 56% of your max life, as ice armor gives it. And mana regeneration. I talked about mana regeneration. When it's active, reduces cooldown by 1 second every 50 mana you spend. I am firing so fast, I'm always spending mana. That works out good. I mentioned earlier with if you have the ice armor aspect on your chest, it says it can happen every 5 seconds. Well, if you're using this right, you could probably cast it every 5 seconds. There you go. It's a win. But that's I would say pre-mythic, pre-Tyrell's Might. But for me, it's my barrier source and also a cooldown source. Alright, I only got 1 point in lucky hit over here. Lucky hits are still happening for me. I haven't had to stress it too much. I just got 1 point here. It felt bad not having anything. Lucky hits, some of our lightning spear, the chance is already low, so like 5, 10, 15% is very negligible. Because when you're talking about 15% of 7%, you'd be lucky to move it to 8%. So 3 points in here might net me 1% gain across the board. So yeah, just 1 point's working fine. Working fine. Align the elements, damage reduction. I already got a lot of damage reduction. I only got 1 point here to access the next stuff. Because I got more damage reduction from this. I am always spending mana, gain 30% damage reduction for 5 seconds. That's up pretty much all the time. Then we got 3 of 3 on protection. I am constantly using cooldowns. I'm constantly getting 30% of my max life as a barrier. Now, I still like the ice armor going because it gives 56%, which is more than 30%. Sometimes 30% is not enough to soak up a blow and I lose some life. Right? I need the ice armor to keep from losing life. But this adds on top of that. Right here, our necklace is boosting this with us. We go 3 of 3 plus whatever we can get from the necklace. We want as much as possible. You want a greater fix and all the crits on this probably. Or, I mean, there's so many things to get crits on that necklace. It's amazing. Gain the damage, movement speed, and mana regeneration. So essentially that's damage, crit chance, and mana regeneration for each active conjuration. Current build right now, I typically stay around 15 or so. I can probably get more once I start getting some greater fixes. Sorry, throat's getting a little sore. Alright, we got our lightning spear. A lot of people in the builds, they only put 1 of 5 here, but I freed up the points in this build to put 5 of 5 because it does increase the damage. Alright. It increases the damage, it deletes the screen faster. That's what matters. And on this, critical strikes apply vulnerable. Our critical strike is damn near 100% when we're in the middle of combat. So yeah, Lightning Spear is always making everything vulnerable. And casting Lightning Spear spawns an additional Lightning Spear and increases their critical strike chance by 15%. So it's going to be critting. Alright, and we got the other thing, adding a third. So when we cast Lightning Spear, we got 3 spears coming out that have their max damage and a high crit chance. Alright, here's where I'm different than others. 1, I got the pants pooping out all the crackling energy for me. 2, I'm picking up that crackling energy to boost the Lightning Spear damage. Alright, I do this to boost Unstoppable Elite and boss damage. Alright, if you're not dealing with Unstoppable Elites or bosses, you are better off going with Invoking Lightning Spear. Because you are always critically striking, Lightning Spear is always stunning. It is amazing. It helps a lot with your survivability. If you're having a hard time staying alive, This can help you stay alive because you will keep the screen in like a permanent state of stun until they become unstoppable. Now for me in the Horde, I always pick Elites get unstoppable because it gives good points. So that pretty much negates this. So that means Elites that are unstoppable are getting hit like a truck by my lightning spears. Think about that. I've compared it. I have watched the screen delete faster. I have had to wait on stuff to spawn while I'm using this one. Alright, but moving on. So on the next tree, we just got some points in some fire and some lightning passives. Now a lot of online builds, they have you put 3 points in Icy Veil. My cooldowns happen so often, and I use Ice Armor so fast, this is irrelevant. My barriers last so long for what I'm doing. I don't need increased duration. And I don't need either of the things above that either. You know? I mean, I guess this would be fun. If I had on Fist of Fate, I could put a point here and 3 points here just to see my Frost or Frozen Orbs freeze and everything. But, I mean, you know, they can already chill and freeze, you know? They already do that stuff. This is just more, win more. You know, you don't need it. But anyways, the stuff I do have. I got one here just to move past. We don't cast pyromancy skills, but we make everything burn because of the enchantment. So we deal 31% increased critical strike damage against burning enemies. Think about how that applies to this build. Everything we do, we stack critical strike damage, and the spear gets boosted on critical strike damage, and we make everything burn because of that fire bolts. And now you deal 21% increased critical strike damage against burning enemies. And we crowd control stuff; it can get increased to 30%. All right. All right. Next we have static discharge. We do this just to get down the tree. I only put 1 point here. A lot of builds put 3 points here. I don't because I have chain lightning making all my crackling energy. If you don't have chain lightning creating your crackling energy, then this is your source of crackling energy. Static discharge. But I use the axial conduits and the chain lightning, so I only need 1 point here, and I got 3 points here. So every time I stun an enemy, they get dealt damage. Now, if you're just trying to kill trash faster, maybe you're playing in a 4-person group, and your job is to take care of the trash and kill it the fastest. If that is your job, then maybe you pick the stun, so you stun the trash because you can't stun unstoppable or stun bosses. And then when you stun them, you deal extra damage, right? But I'm focused on the stuff that takes me the longest, which is the big stuff. I already killed the trash right away. That's just win more, right? That's what I found out. Anyways, I digress. Moving to the next tree. Because I freed up points otherwhere, I got other stuff people don't have. Most builds don't have anything in the frost up here. I have 1 of 3 just to get past this. Again, we don't care about frost damage. But you deal 9% increased damage to chilled enemies and 18% increased damage to frozen enemies. This doesn't say frost damage. This is all damage, right? And Frozen Orb chills everything it hits. And eventually it'll freeze stuff. And whenever a boss is staggered, it is both chilled and frozen. So this Hoarfrost is a damage boost to staggered bosses. That's what people don't understand. This is a damage boost to staggered bosses. Alright. Alright, moving down. So I don't have any points in this because the 5 of 3 is pretty amazing for me that we got from that temper. If I didn't have that temper, I might have 3 points here. But I have that temper, so the temper's giving me 5. Another reason I chose that temper instead of lightning spear cooldown is it freed up skill points for me. You saw what I did. So freeing up those 3 skill points gave me increased boss damage. There you go. But those 5 things from the temper, 75% mana regeneration. Add that 75% to the ice armor's 30% increase. They're both multiplicative. When I'm in combat, my mana regenerates for me. How about that? Hitting enemies with shock skills increases crit chance. Now, we already crit a lot, so I just put 1 point to go down the tree. Now, we do crit a lot, so every time we crit, we reduce damage they deal to us. Another part of my damage reduction and my survivability. People are always like, how do you live? This is one of the ways. I crit stuff, and because I crit them, they can't hurt me. It's just like a barbarian shout reducing damage. Let's see. Well, and also, let's see. This benefits your entire group. This is enemies deal less damage. It doesn't say to you. I talked about wording is important. This is enemies deal less damage. So that means if you critically strike them and they hit your friend takes less damage. There you go. You're such a good friend. All right, next we have shock skills have up to 21% chance to stun enemies. Now, if I'm using this, I don't use that. Right? If lightning spear, I have lightning spears everywhere, and everything is critically striking. If that is reliably stunning for me, then I stop here. I don't do this. I do convulsions because I took this away. But if you think about that, this still happens for me. Yeah, lightning spears are still, they don't even have to crit. They're still stunning, right? So stuns still happen. I didn't give up all stuns. That's why I still have damage here for stun damage. All right. Let's see. And most builds online tell you to take overflowing energy because crackling energy reduces the cooldowns. It's kind of funny though. If you follow the builds online, you don't even get a lot of crackling energy. You're running around like, man, I don't have any crackling energy to even use this. I mean, on my build, I get a lot of benefit out of this. Sometimes I turn this on for the first part of the Horde because it can help with the trash. But even then, when those Aether Fiends spawn, this comes in handy. And also my damage reduction. People wondering how I'm always alive. When you critically strike, which I'm always doing, you become charged and take 25% less damage. So essentially, I am always charged because I'm always critically striking. And my critical strikes that are always happening have a 10% chance, which is a high chance, to cause the damage to arc to another nearby enemy. So that means my big damage gets multiplied on other enemies. Or, this is important for bosses and big Aether Fiends, if there are no other targets, you hit the target again for 250% of the damage. So if I have an insane orange overpower crits, that's multiplied by all my damage, it gets multiplied another 250% on the boss. That's amazing. So, some keys that I do to deal with bosses, even without having good Masterwork gear. Probably how I did the tier 8 so easily without Masterwork gear. Or, yeah, I still had like 8 to 12 on some stuff when I did it. I'm all 12 to 12 now. It's easy mode now. But anyways, yeah, this helps, and the Axial Conduit Pants help. They greatly increase your boss damage. Alright, and without further ado, I will quickly zoom through the Paragon board because you'll be able to rewind it, or pause and rewind the video as needed. I essentially followed the Paragon board off max roll, and I made a few minor changes myself to get another extra yellow node here and there, and I may have changed up a glyph. Very minor. Their board was pretty good. You'll have leftover points if you follow theirs, and there's some parts that you're like, why'd they do that? But if you actually look into that stuff. But going up the board, start on the left side, because I needed some life and survivability. And also, I wanted to go up this side to minimize how much it took for me to activate my node. Alright. Going up this side, I took the Elementalist, which uses intelligence. Because using intelligence, when I'm going up, really, I just had to hop over here and get this to max it out and get 40. Just trying to go through each node and get them activated. If I went up this side, it would cost me 1 or 2 extra points, which affects me at the finish line. Alright, and this damage, this non-physical damage, it's additive. I already have a lot of non-physical damage. So like say this being additive, like right now, my non-physical damage is at, let's see. Well, so non-physical damage with cold and poison, 331. If I selected that, it would just go to 351. It doesn't multiply. It's additive. You got to watch out for that. That's why some of these things, you'll see they have the X or the plus by the skill. Let me go to the skill tree. You'll see it more. See, like these have the plus. That means additive. That has a plus. It means additive. That's important here. This mana regeneration is additive. So after it's calculated, this is added. This mana regeneration is multiplicative because it has an X beside that 30%. That's important to know. So two different ways to attack my mana regeneration. Yay, happy accident. Alright. I'm muting the mic, clear my throat real quick. All right, I'm back. All right, back on the Paragon board. We are using 8 glyphs all around the place. Wow. Where am I? Where am I? Where did I park my car? Anybody know? Okay. So, first board, Elementalist, Intelligence. Second board, we're going through, we're going around, grabbing what we can, minimalizing how many points we use. And Tactician, activate it with a minimal. Here's something I'm different. So, like the online, they didn't take this up here. So I went up here and got more damage reduction. Hey, that's why I'm strong, right? Yay. I could go up this way too. Maybe I'm too strong. Maybe I take that off there and I go up this way. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would have to steal a point from somewhere to make that happen. And yeah, that's additive. So I already have damage to elites and I have damage to burning enemies. So that'd be additive. So I'd be stealing from somewhere to get an additive number, not a multiplicative number. That's important to know with your Paragon board as well. That's why it's okay to just go through your Paragon board and like focus on getting the glyphs and some legendary powers. Because a lot of the yellow nodes are additive. You want to look out for stuff that you don't have. You want to add new numbers that you don't have. That's the buckets. Alright. Next board we have Unleash. Oh yeah, this board was the Burning Instincts board. Next board we got the Enchantment Master board. And for that we have Unleash. Again, Intelligence. Came over. Here's another little thing I did. I hopped over here and got this. You know, most guides. I want to say their guide had you like go up here and that way or something. I can't remember. But yeah, but Unleash. I'll go back through and talk about them real quick as well. Let's see, next board, Frigid Fate. And we got Charged. Again, you can always pause the video to do your board. Next board, we have Elemental Summoner. And we have Conjurer. Next board, we have Ceaseless Conduit. And we have Destruction. Next board, we have Searing Heat. And we have Exploit. Then the last board, we have Static Surge, Flame Feeder. Alright, now going through real quick talking about the glyphs. Again, that was 8 glyphs, and they all make this build work. Alright, typically we'd care about the bottom part the most. Let's see. Stacking once per element, we're dealing all these elements. This is another 15% multiplicative multiplier. Yep, there you go. Tactician, another multiplier for defensive skills. So that's our ice armor, it's our teleport, it's our flame shield. That leaves out Frost Nova. Alright. So Frost Nova is left out, so that means the duration is increased by 4 seconds. So I deal 10% X increased damage for 8 seconds after casting a defensive skill. Well, that works pretty good because I maintain all those. They stack. They're multipliers. 10, 10, 10 for like each of the defensive skills. 8 seconds, 8 seconds, 8 seconds. And I do cast all of them every 8 seconds. So that's good once you get it going. Next we have Unleash. After spending 50 mana, which I am always spending mana, 2 seconds into the fight I've spent 50 mana and it never goes away. You deal increased damage and gain more mana regeneration. Nice. I wish I had an extra plus there by that mana regeneration. Next we have Charge. Alright. Picking up Crackling Energy grants a damage bonus up to 15%. Again, we're always picking up Crackling Energy. Next, we have Conjuration skills deal increased damage. Well, and increased damage. We use Conjuration skills. I use Ice Sword on mine. A lot of people don't. I'll talk about that too. Yeah, I guess I should talk about the skills that I'm actually using. Let's see, we got Destruction. Talking about crit damage. Self-explanatory here. Critical strikes increase all damage they take, and increase critical strike damage. Let's see. Yeah, dealing damage to vulnerable enemies increases your damage. And everything's vulnerable because of Lightning Spear, so it's very good. And then last we got 10% increased damage to burning enemies. Now if we get a 9th, there's another one out there that increases critical strike damage. I want to say it's Invocation. Yeah. So yeah, I would love to use this. I just don't have a dex board to put it into. But yeah. I mean, one, we would lose a multiplier somewhere along the line. So dexterity. I mean, the only thing I can think about it without a big impact. No, I need that. Like, which one's dexterity? Alright, so if this is 10%, 10%, 10%, I'm going to have to keep an eye on the skill bar, see if it is. Then this is probably more damage than that one. And this would be the dex slot. I mean, we always test that, look for numbers. We'll try that out. I got to finish leveling that up eventually. I'll test that out at some point and get back with everyone. Because if I level this up, replace it there on the dexterity, that'll lower a multiplier. But conjuration skill being my lightning spear, it will increase my lightning spear's critical strike damage, right? If I'm thinking about that correctly. Oh, 1 second. Let's see. Waiting. I may have to exit all the way. I don't know. Hopefully they didn't push a update or something. Did one yesterday. Yeah, I just keep stuck on loading for yeah, trying to go into the game. This happened before. I go all the way out. I go all the way out. I got to close the Battle.net launcher and relaunch the Battle.net launcher, and then yeah, it might still say characters in the world, but like it won't even do that now. It just hangs on the like loading screen when when it usually says like 1 minute in queue. I could just get stuck on loading there. Still doing it. Yeah, it's weird. I wonder something might have happened. If it was just that character, then I'd be able to get it on someone, right? He's acting like the server's down. Other people are online. I'm still streaming, so I didn't lose my network. Huh. Interesting. There we go. Weird. It's happened a couple of times this season. But yeah, usually just a little bit of patience and restarting helps. Normally, if your character's in the world, you get a message for it, and you can still log in other characters. Alright, went over the gear. Still need to go over skills. Went over the skill tree. Just went through all the Paragon glyphs. Alright, I guess that was a good time to disconnect at least. But go into our skills. Alright, enchantments. We have Firebolt enchantment. Again, always puts out burning damage. We love it. I have Chain Lightning forms automatically after spending 100 mana. So I don't have Chain Lightning on my bar. It just happens automatically while I'm playing with my white balls, right? I'm just throwing the white balls on my feet and lightning is spewing everywhere, right? It just all over the place. Crackling energy, everywhere. Let's see. Most people, they use the Ice Blade enchantment. Because the Ice Blade enchantment, for every 40 seconds in cooldowns, which are always in cooldowns, you spawn an Ice Blade on a random enemy. Now, for me, because I'm having pretty good cooldown reduction with my attack speed and the Frozen Orb, I have Ice Blades instead of the ultimate. Yeah, I don't know if anybody noticed, I do not have an ultimate on my skill bar. The ultimate is nothing more than an attack speed boost. All right, and then you gotta put in the it's not even as much attack speed as in Dario's Visage. And then like you gotta use the crackling energy to reduce the cooldown on it. So like, you know, you have to use that passive in order to get anything out of the ultimate. So essentially, it's worthless on boss fights. But when I'm fighting a boss fight, I got like 20 swords on the screen. It's pretty cool. Because it's on my bar, and its cooldown's constantly getting reset with Lightning Spear. So, like I said, when I'm playing, I'm having a hard time keeping both buttons pressed. And, yeah, just Conjuration's on the screen, doing everything for me. Lightning Spear's still dealing damage, and I got my Axial Conduits dealing damage. Yeah, just, I mean, there's a lot of ways to make a build, but yeah, so far from testing everything, I have settled on what I feel is best. And without further ado, let's go to Saragar. Maybe I'll kill a boss too. Alright, spent so much time there, potion ran out, I gotta throw stuff in the stash. I wonder if anybody needs to be carried in a 101. Sorry, just had some spam calls. 101. Now, as you're gearing and masterworking up, you may hit a slight snag when you get to the point where you got to jump to, or from like tier 6 to tier 7 to start getting Neoth Iron. At that point, you're strong enough to come to the pit and get some Neoth Iron. So that way you can get some masterworking to then jump into tier 7 on the Horde. Just talking about progression. New thing from the patch yesterday, showing our mount and our pet behind the people. Now I'm just waiting for a flaming pet in the store so I can be like, take my money! Let's see what we got here. Let's drink us a potion. Sorry, I guess I'm not going for time, sitting here messing around. But watch, I'm just going to start throwing balls at my feet. Not even going to aim at anything. Oh, look at stuff dying there. I just walk through, stuff happens. And yep.
I need time to prepare that.
Man, I guess I should have just been like, you know what, let's do a pit 150 or something. I haven't even tried that. Who knows? My highest last season was 124. I wonder if we'll do that. But I'll try that on a later stream if I keep it streaming. Because this build was going so good, and I've met a lot of people that have struggled with it, and yeah. Found a lot of ins and outs for it. So I hope this video helps people.
I need time to prepare that.
Maybe one day I'll find the energy to go back and edit it. But right now this is just a hobby while I'm retired.
I'm not ready
yet. For the play style, I'm playing on PC. I am holding right click the entire time. Right click makes me keep casting. Right? If I'm not hitting anything, then I can run out of mana. You know, just like Barbarian build. If you're not hitting something, you run out of mana. If I want to move, I hold in left click. Holding in left click makes me stop. All right. So then, if I want to like fight where I stagger and keep shooting, I click, click, click. Really just keep clicking where I want to go, and that makes me keep shooting the whole time. If I keep like rapid clicking wherever I'm going, that has me shooting the entire time. So literally, I don't have to fight the monsters. I can run around and dodge stuff, worry about the mechanics of the fights, and throw these white balls at my feet, right? And yeah, just all over the place. All right.
I'm not ready yet.
Can you imagine what time I'd be making right now if I was trying?
I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, it's like the Andariel's Visage makes you pump out these frozen orbs so much faster. Right? I mean, to put it in perspective, like I don't even have a greater fix on it, but the attack speed on Andariel's Visage is more than the ultimate plus an attack speed potion.
I need time to prepare that.
And you get the poison novas. All these lightning spears are all having a chance of just like plopping a bunch of poison on there. And then that also gives a fourth stack for the iridescent loot. Or incandescent, whatever it is. I gotta look at it. Look at it. 3 minutes. So I guess official speed farming time is under 3 minutes. I guess with, if I tried, I would have done it, right? And this lady, she's had more life this entire season. It's ridiculous.
I'm not ready yet.
So, I can just stay away from her. I'm just gonna go around the room, play by myself here. La da 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 da. Uh-oh. Woo.
I'm not ready yet.
I mean, I don't know if anybody's noticed. I have not hit my flame shield at all. I have not lost my shield at all.
I'm not ready yet.
I am just running around, playing with my own balls right here. There we go. I hope that looked easy enough for everyone, because it was. Like, I have mastered the Barbarian, but I feel like I have been fighting an uphill battle with him all season. And a few days ago I make the Sorcerer and I'm doing this. It's ridiculous. I mean, Barbarian's not doing as good this season because they secretly turned off some multipliers inside how the numbers work. It's a little messed up, Blizzard. A little messed up. I tried playtesting a lot of different builds, and like a few different ways I tried to trigger bleeding. Didn't work. But based on the wording and how I used it last season, it should work. But like, there's a lot of ways that no longer activate the Rage of Harkenoth chest piece. But yeah, you'll hear me vent about that if I make any more Barbarian videos. Alright, so that was a pretty quick thing there, but people might really be curious. Alright, 101 was nice. But you can probably clear a 101 and still do a tier 6 or tier 7. Everybody is curious. Can you do a tier 8? Well,
starting from nothing.
Take a little pause and take a little break if you need. I'm about to start one.
The wonders of Sanctuary at your fingertips. How may I help you? The bright aura.
Yeah, I already have
Brighter
one.
soul.
That's right, I got one from there. Alright. Just a potion. Not even worried about an incense. Alright. Leroy! There we go. Hopefully we get some good options, so that way it's a pretty decent haul. Sorry, vaping. Alright, so some people get worried about the damage on this right away because it takes a moment for this to ramp up. A lot of your damage multipliers come from having all the conjurations in the air and getting all those multipliers going and stuff like that. But once you get it and maintain it, you got it. That's why, like, once I start going, I don't stop. I just keep like moving around, stutter stepping. I don't want to lose my stacks. So I'm going to start back here and start doing stuff. Lightning Spears are going to pull the Aether Fiend up there. I don't know if it's the Axe one. If I see the fireballs coming up my face, I'm going to use my Flame Shield.
I'm not ready yet.
Go get them, Conjurations. Well, I use it anyways. I see them coming at me, and I use it. And I usually just like walk around the boss. Try to stay close to the single target so that way my axial conduits are working. And for the most part in here, like I just stutter step between the pillars spot here, and everything just gets deleted. It's pretty nice. And then I try to... Sometimes I accidentally use my teleport while I'm doing this. But let's see, so I'm holding right click, and I got the teleport on my left click, I hold my force stand still, and the teleport will take me over there. Yeah, or yeah, I do the same thing with leap on my barbarian. I'll put it on my left click while like all the buttons I spam are 1 through 4, and then like on whirlwind, I'll be holding right click the whole time, whirlwinding, and then I can left click on stuff to leap at it. And it works out pretty good. Right there? Yeah. Just as soon as I finish that one spot, I went over there. Aetherfiend comes out of the ground, I keep moving. Comes out of the ground, keep moving. You got to get them out of the ground. Get them out of the ground, and they should stay there after the time runs out. If you don't get them out of the ground, like this one, oh good, he stayed. Sometimes they vanish right away. Alright. Best I got these. I'm going to go down here by them. Still got my shield, even though 2 of them hit me some. Because if you paid attention to my build, I got damage reduction. Sorcerer is like a freaking barbarian now. Wow. Ooh, that's nice. Alright. I don't like going slow. I hate this. And then, a few of my things, like the moment I use Flame Shield or Teleport, it goes away anyways. So it's like, this is the most worthless spire there is. If anybody from Blizzard sees this, or hears this, or gets word of it, remove this shit. It's worthless. Thank you. This, it needs to be buffed. You buff this to +2, I might pick it some. But for the most part, it's the worst option. It's not worthless like this, but it's the worst option. This, I love it with Barbarian when I'm whirlwinding. And I love it right now where I'm constantly moving, and movement speed is critical strike chance. Also, one thing I didn't do that I should have done more. Evade grants 120% movement speed for 3 seconds. So if I try to evade on cooldown, that keeps my crit chance going. You know, evade isn't for survival, evade is for crit chance. You use Flame Shield and Teleport for survival. Alright, but I digress. We're going to get some more crit chance here. I might not even need to evade anymore. Who knows? We'll see. But I'll evade now. So right there, if I wanted to be smart, I should have cast a lot of Conjurings and then clicked it. That way stuff would have landed and got deleted. The wave would have started out faster, a lot faster. Come to think of it, damn, that's pretty smart. I should do that every time. Should always get the screen filled with Conjurations, then click the Spire. That way it gets the wave on a roll. Wow. You hear that? Write that down. That's from Van Wilder, by the way.
I need time.
A lot of people don't know National Lampoon's Van Wilder, but that's where I learned to laugh my ass off at Ryan Reynolds. Now, just disclaimer, there is some boobies in there, but it's a National Lampoon's movie. It's to be expected. Anyways, yeah. He'll give some like hilarious life advice to his protege, and he'll be like, "Write that down. Write that down."
I'm not ready yet.
Alright, so tough choice to start here. Either Burning Rain or +2 on elites. Burning Rain opens up Hellborn spawning from the rain as an option. But that's not really beneficial until you start getting +1 to Hellborns. However, if I can get +2 on elites a lot of times, eventually, like, more smaller Aether Fiends start spawning. And, like, it's so much Aether. I think it could even be more than Hellborn if you get all Aether Fiend grants +2. But, so, let's test that out. The goal is 1,000.
I need time.
40 after 2 is decent. Guess be hoping for close to 100 after this one. Somewhere between 80 and 100, I'm thinking. I started out a little slow though. I was talking and not going straight to the circles as soon as I could. So yeah, you gotta keep that in mind too. Not paying 100% attention.
I'm not ready yet.
But again, key with Aether Fiends is, with this build especially, is get them to come out of the hold and have them chase you. If you stay there and focus, you're going to miss out on other stuff. The same applies to the Butcher. I just let the Butcher chase me around, and with my movement speed and attack speed and how my build's set up, the Butcher's no threat to me. I let the Butcher chase me around, and eventually he just dies while I'm still fighting the rest of the map. Oh, here we're getting rewarded already. Look at this. Rewarded already. Oh, man. Now, if I didn't have this, I would pick Unstoppable. So this right here, another reason that I choose Crackling Energy, which I just picked up some. If you notice, I got an 8 down there. That means I got 160% damage, multiplier damage bonus on my Lightning Spear. So the first Lightning Spears I have come out are going to start wrecking stuff. And then I got more Crackling Energy to pick up and boost my next ones. But yeah, at least you're Unstoppable, plus 2 Aether. But this is more common than this. So I'm taking this while I have a chance. Because this chance for Elite doubled, this will apply later when the smaller Aether Fiend elites start appearing. So then you'll have smaller groups of elites appear, or Aether Fiends appearing, that each drop piles and piles of Aether. It gets ridiculous. Let's try to demonstrate that. Hopefully someone at Blizzard is watching what I'm doing and just like, you know, they're like, alright, bet, here you go. And they're playing Puppet Master behind the screen.
I need time to prepare that.
Who's got white balls? I've got white balls.
I'm not ready yet.
They're electrifying. Man, sometimes the spires are a waste of time for me. Like, I really want to just go around and get Aether Fiends down. Masses are a waste of time, but at the same time, it's like you got to get rid of them to get more stuff. And also getting rid of them helps fill the event bar. Took a bad hit there. Did not lose my barrier. A few bad hits, actually. I got staggered. Axe guy hit me. Still got my barrier. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Doobie, doobie, doo. How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Oh, we got Unstoppable. Oh, man. So this would go great with what we got now. But honestly, we should only get the speed stuff like this when we don't have the +2s. Wow. So rewarded. I think that's enough to start getting the, usually around +6 or +8 to Aether Fiends is when I start seeing the double spall Aether Fiends appear.
I'm not ready yet.
There's a big one. Come on.
I'm not ready yet. I need time to prepare that.
Yeah, if I freed up points on my skill board to put points in something extra, I might put some extra points in a teleport. Because sometimes, like the way I'm playing, it's like I go to teleport and I'm like, man, I got a 1 or 2 second wait. You know? And with my playstyle right now, if I put a couple points into that, I think that would take care of that 1 or 2 second wait. And then, like, as soon as I see a circle appear, I'd be going to it. It'd be pretty cool. What we got? A slap in the face. Slap in the face. Oh, this is going to make life hell if I choose that. Slows down the fight so much too. But honestly, I don't think I have to worry about him. I'm really curious about this. I hate the Lords with my Barbarian because they slow the fight down so much. Just like I'm talking about when you spawn the Fiends, you keep moving. Alright, I'm going to see if I can ignore the Lords and keep moving. I could wind up with like 4 or 5 bosses on the screen. This could get ugly real fast. But you know what? We're streaming. Why not? Let's do it. I'll even pick... Masses will make Lords for us next. So now, These lords are just going to appear on me. Hopefully that doesn't remove all my Aether Fiends. That would be bad.
I need time to prepare.
Oh, there we go. Aether Lord just appearing there.
I'm not ready yet.
Aether Fiend. Good, good, good. So far we've got a Lord, a Fiend, another Fiend. What we got up here now? Ooh, another Fiend. Oh, this is nice. I like that. I haven't really had to worry about the Lord. That's good. Excuse me. Come through. Come through. Don't mind me. Oh no.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
Not bad. Not bad. Oh, man. Why did it do this to me? 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 waves of Hellborn. Now, I think I picked too much to pick Hellborn because I picked Lords. They share spawn points. So when the event fills up, I'm only going to get one of them. I'm going to get Lords, I'm going to get Fiends, or I'm going to get Hellborn. So if I add this to the mix, I'm going to screw up everything I did. +2 to elites again. What we got? We got... it was up there at the top. I was trying to see how much of a plus we got. Stuff was coming at my head, and no pun intended. But yeah, I had to get going. But holy, look at this map going crazy. Wow. It's a wave 7 thing or something?
I'm not ready yet.
Multiple spires on top of each other.
I'm not ready.
By the way, I'd already selected Unstoppable once. They can't get Unstoppable again. They just got another +2, so that's pretty amazing. And again, all that Unstoppable is why I choose to use Crackling Energy to boost my Lightning Spear instead of relying on my Lightning Spear to stun stuff. Do you see this Lord getting stunned? I don't.
I'm not ready yet.
I see him staggering some, but not enough to really matter. I might stagger him once and the whole time I'm fighting him. Not that I'm really fighting him per se. We'll call this fighting him, right?
I need time.
But I'm just walking around still, just throwing my balls at my feet, and that's all I'm doing. Oh, let me chase these balls too. Sorry. Throwing balls down and chasing balls that are all around me. Wow.
I need time.
No puns intended. But maybe. I'm retired army. Who knows? Oh, man. But again, like, so the only reason I would pick Hellfire is to get Hellborn out of the Hellfire. But I don't want to mess with what we're doing. Oh, man. Is it... Oh... So, 8, 9, 10. That's a possibility of 27. I guess I don't have to pick Hellborn. Right? I can just do Hellfire. We can just make this shittier for me. Right? I'm not too worried about the 50% damage to the Fell Council with my current build right now. But defeating them grants 15. This could be 27. Math wins.
I need time to prepare that.
But again, I don't really think of that as a big number overall for like picking it on an early wave for that reason, because that 3 to 9 is only at the very end of the wave when the spires reappear. When the spires reappear and you see that Aether appear around the spires, that's from this. That's from the Hellfire. And so, if you only get 3 there, that feels bad. I mean, like, if I could have picked +2 on elites and gotten, like, say, +2, +2, +2 multiple times in a fight, and then I only get 3 from Hellfire, that feels bad. So that's why +2 wins for me.
I need time to prepare that.
I almost lost my barrier there. What happened? Oh yeah, there's lords walking around.
I
Everything.
need time to prepare that.
Come on, give me more +2s to elites. Yeah. Alright, this is going to put us at plus 10 for Aether Fiends. Winning. That means if we get a double Aether Fiend spawn, that's going to be 20 on a spawn. Wow.
I'm not ready
So while I was prepping all my abilities, I was not hitting my Lightning Sphere yet because I had an 8 on it.
yet. I'm not ready.
But once monster spawned, I hit the 8, so that way, I hit the Lightning Sphere, so that way, you know, I maximize having those 8 crackling energies on the Lightning Sphere. Because that's a 160% multiplier. It's like one of the biggest multipliers in the entire build. Shit. People just dismiss that because the other one always stunning and doing stun damage. I mean, that's nice for trash, but I mean, the trash is barely staying alive on tier 8, right? And I told you, I stun stuff anyways. I hit it so often that the lucky hit stun works.
Prepare that. I need time to prepare that.
Oh, honestly, I spaced out for a second there. I forgot I was even fighting stuff. Just literally just going around, just da 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 da. Oh yeah, so the playstyle: hold and right click,
I'm not ready.
spam and left click, spamming 1, 2, and 3. That is it. That is all I'm doing. So I like to create what I tell people are Ray Charles builds, right?
I'm not ready.
Because I play with some people that they don't like to do anything too complicated. They just wanna walk around, kill shit, or you know, spam buttons and watch everything die.
I'm not ready yet.
So I have some tier 8 builds like that for Sorcerer and Barbarian. This is one of those. This just happens to be the strongest build in the
I
game,
need time to prepare.
and I made it more autopilot than it was.
I need time to prepare that.
Delos has the most life out of all the Aether Fiends because the Blood Bishop got buffed. Delos takes like 4 times as long to kill, even for me, than any of the other ones. Oh my god, we got another unstoppable elite. That's amazing. We're up to 12.
I need time to prepare that.
You know, in hindsight, I messed up picking Lord because that Lord spawn has stolen some Aether Fiend spawns. Oh, look at that. Multiple Aether Fiends there, small ones, and look at all this they drop. Man. Sometimes I get that to start happening around wave 5. Like right there, that Aether Lord could have been multiple Aether Fiends. Yeah, I did mess up doing that, but I did want to see it does work. Just walking around playing the Lightning Spear will just passively kill the Lords. Just like last night I tested, it'll passively kill the Butcher for you too.
I need time.
Just keep playing like this and the Butcher will die. Just use your Flame Shield for emergencies as needed. If he gets you with a Stagger, you Flame Shield.
I need time to prepare that.
Yeah, so in hindsight, all of the Lords that I killed, let's see, I think this Lord's going to give me, let's see, I'm at 568, it's only going to give me 3 when I kill him? We'll find out. 574, 574, going to, I got 6 from him, okay? So all my Aether Fiends have plus 12 now. He has plus 3. So if everything, if all of these Lords were 1 or 2 Aether Fiends apiece, yeah, I would have gotten over 800. Dang. The one where I had 1,000, it started like first pick of the game was Summon Hellborn, and then like it rotated between +1 Hellborn and +2 to Aether Fiends. So that added up to over 1,000. By the way, 2 points to note. Increased movement speed down here. The Spire effect of the picking up Aether gives movement speed for 8 seconds. That is stacking. The time stacks to 8 seconds plus 8 seconds plus 8 seconds. So I have a lot of movement speed stacked up right now. So it's going to last through the whole boss fight. The same thing happens for Hellborn Invigoration. So that's one good thing about getting Hellborn. because you can take that invigoration into a boss fight and have reduced cooldowns in the boss fight.
I'm not ready yet.
I hit the lightning spear too soon. Lost 8 sparks. That's fine. They got some hits in. For the most part, I like wander between them. There's not the flame one. Without the flame one, I can probably stay in the middle. I need them all to come here. They come near the middle, works out real good with axial conduit. But I do have to be careful because the middle is the most dangerous spot. Because, especially when they got the hydras that pop up, shooting the 3 balls, the shotgun blast from that can kill you. Just gotta be mindful of the shotgun blast, but we're always moving. We're always throwing frost.
I'm not ready yet.
We got these lightning storms out now. They hurt. I usually save my flame shield now for whenever something's trying to kill me. The tornado gets a zap. Yep, see. Oh, now the Hydra heads are doing it. So now I want to stay out here and play little Mario. Da 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 da.
I'm not ready yet.
Because now I can just run for my life and play with my balls and I'll be good.
I'm not ready yet. I need time to prepare that.
Yeah, I vote they just remove the flame boss from this. He's so annoying. Or make him like run away like 25% less. That'd be nice. He is always running away from you. It's more of a pain for my barbarian. That's why I hate him.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
Come on, Maelstrom. Give it up. $6.15. Decent. Again, yeah, it always slows it down picking lords. Slows it down picking the lords, and then the lords took up a spawn point from me. So yeah, competing spawn points and kill time. I guess maybe pick lords if you got one person with you that has like an overpowered boss killing build. They're not very good at the room, but Sorcerer kills the room. If you got one of them there, they can kill the boss real quick and hit for billions and stuff. Alright, so what we got here. So I like the tier 8. I always get like a 2 or 3 star out of this chest. 2-star pants. Take the sword. Leave the rest there. Ugh, 95% trash. Trash. Anything here? Eh. Oh yeah, so annoying thing on computer is trying to click these and like run around and run around. On computer, you can use the F button. F will loot. It'll loot and interact. You can also use this to resurrect people. If you're having a hard time clicking on a ghost, you can use F to try to target that ghost. missing gold. Add to the pile. Alright. Well, guess that was an overview of the build. It was the Tier 101 pits. Freaking Tier 8 Horde. And just in case someone's curious, I'll show you how it does in a boss fight. Head on over to Endariel. It's one of the harder ones people don't like, but it's just like a game of Mario. I mean, you can play Mario and, you know, just let your stuff do its work.
I need time to do
For those that never played the old Mario games, they're just going through dungeons and dodging stuff. And by the way, the first time I ever played a Mario game was a little basic thing on a thing called Atari. Looked like old Donkey Kong, but it was like Mario and Luigi jumping around trying to collect stuff and stay alive. And then on Nintendo they made Mario Brothers.
I need time to prepare that.
Another fun fact about Mario.
I need time.
Everyone always says, "It's me, Mario." But no, when they created it, his name was Japanese. It was Itsumi Mario. Itsumi Mario. So then, you know, it came out as, in American, it came out as, "It's a me, Mario." Anyways, here we go.
I need time to prepare
Save my flame shield if I ever need it. I don't know. Go up here, kill some stuff. Maybe. Teleport over to this guy, see what happens. No, I'll just walk over. I don't know. Maybe teleport there. Maybe. I don't know. Boss is dead. Who knows? Something happened. Yay! Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I hope everybody enjoyed. Aw, no Uber for the crowd. Till next time.